It is day 2. Welcome back to my channel. We are moving right along with December daily. So this is something that I made earlier in the month. Paige Evans asked me to play along with her 25 days of holiday cut files. And so this is something that I had made for today's cut file, which was this really pretty garland. So I actually cut it 4 different times in different lengths and used it to make a border for this page. And I knew whatever my day 2 story was, the journaling would probably fit under this. And I was correct. So this is why, while we start, I just want to tell you a little story. This is why I love this project so much. I had, I thought I knew what my story was going to be, right? Like I had a pretty good idea of what the story I wanted to tell today was going to be. And then life surprised me, like it does. And my story ended up being something completely different. And again, that's one of the things I love about this project so much, is that it is a way for life to keep surprising you. So, my story ended up being about a broken little ornament that Joshua and I got this year. And again, not what I thought the story was going to be at all, but probably the story that I needed to tell, I guess. So I actually went ahead and made some banners using my foil quill. Now, if you have a foil quill but you don't really know how to use it, you guys need to be following Amy Gretchen. She is the queen of foil quill tutorials, and that's how I learned how to do this. So what I actually did was I took the same cut file from Paige Evans and I actually foiled it on this midnight green cardstock from Concord and Ninth just to continue the element, and then I foiled this sentiment, "That's how the light gets in," because it's in my journaling, and it was pretty much like necessary. Also, it's shiny and I love it so much. So also I ended up with an essay without even trying. Like today my journaling was going to be really small with the story that I thought I was going to end up telling, and then it just wasn't. It was a different story, so it's huge. So I'm going to stick this down. So I actually had 2 banners that were the same width, but I wanted to be able to see that really fun pine cone garland in the background. So I had to trim it down, and I'm actually going to trim this one down a little bit more too, just so you can see more of the pine cones without all that extra stuff. So I'm just going to make it a little bit narrower. I'm literally making this up as I go. Okay, so that looks so much better because you get more of the pine cones and then you get that sentiment. So I'm going to stick this down, and then we're going to get to work on assembling the page, embellishing, doing a few more things, and then we'll be done. Okay, so I went ahead and adhered my 2 banners, and I kind of want to put something that looks like hardware for where the banners are attached. So I'm just going to use some of these Studio Katia gold sparkle crystals that I bought for my card making adventures, and I'm just going to glue one right at the front of each of these little banners I made, just again so they look like little hardware. I don't want to actually put a brad through this, because if you know anything about me, you might know that I'm very attached to my gold brads. My gold star brads are like gold, pretty much. So I don't want to use them unless I'm using them to actually like attach like a swivel element or something. So I'm going to just use these gold gems right at the top of these banners. There we go. That is just a little bit of sparkle that they needed. Okay, so the way this page worked when I had created it was I had punched a hole in a bit of white cardstock, punched the hole in the transparency, and put the star brad through it. So I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to put these, pretty much line them up, and then punch the hole with my Crop-A-Dile so that my star brad can go through them, and then it will swivel out. Now, my intentions originally were to put my photo underneath it, but it just works out that my journaling is a full page, as it might be for most of this month. I don't know. I'm not committing to writing a full page every day, but the month just started, so I'm feeling really like fresh and like really. I'm not putting that together yet. I'm gonna do something else before I put that together. Yeah, the month just started, so I'm feeling really good about it. We will see how long this like daily vomit fest I'm having of words is going to last. I don't know. All right, so I have the felt hearts that came in the No, this was an add-on. This was not in the main kit. So I have the felt hearts that were an add-on item. And, oh, I'm actually ruining it because I just punched a hole in it. So I'm going to trim off that extra gold thread. So note to self, if you're going to punch a hole in these, don't punch it right where the gold thread is or you will ruin it. And I have one of these Tim Holtz metal charms. This one says special delivery. And I'm just going to put a star brad through it and attach it to this heart. Now, this is a lot of texture because this is going to go on top of that cork. But I like texture in my albums, so I like doing things like this, right? Things that mix felt and metal and cork and glitter and shine. That's my jam. So I'm going to just glue on this black heart right to the number 2. Right there. I think that's really cute. Yep, I think that's really cute. Okay. And then I'm going to attach it. Now, I could have attached it. Oh, Lord, have his mercy. I could totally have attached it after I put the star brad together. At one point, I thought about putting the brad through the cork number and then doing it that way. But I figured it would make more sense to just adhere it on. Hopefully, this glue behaves. Otherwise, we're pulling out the red line tape if it chooses to not cooperate, which it might actually not cooperate. So we'll see. Otherwise, we're bringing out the red line tape. So I'm going to leave that there. So that's what that's going to look like in the album. And I think that's super cute. You have the 2 with the heart and the special delivery and then the essay of journaling underneath. And then on the other side to carry over, first I'm going to punch holes. Where's my hole punch? First I'm going to punch holes. And then to carry over the same design theories. So this is what I like to do with my album. I like to have like big photos and let that be the like statement piece. And then let my embellishing, that's not sticking. So I'm going to have to figure out something else to put that down. Let my embellishing be, like I don't want the embellishments to be the star. Sometimes, I guess it depends on what embellishment I'm using. There are some embellishments that I totally want to be the star of what I'm working on. But typically it's not. I guess. So, I don't know. I might be making that up. But right now, what I'm feeling is using the photos and the words as the stars of what I'm making. And then having the embellishments just be like supporting characters. So I'm building my designs around the words and the photos. And then just pulling in whatever I think works. So I have these number tokens, also from Tim Holtz. I have so many metal embellishments from Tim Holtz, and I love them. So they're just going to be all over my album this year, because it's just, again, another fun texture. That's why I bought the pleather and the felt and all those other things. I love texture. All right, so I have another, so I put the 2. I'm leaning towards stapling these hearts to each other, just because I don't know how else to attach them. So I'm going to staple these with my tiny attacher, just staple these to each other. And then put that 2 back on top of it to hide them. And look at how cute that little cluster is. It's just the 2 hearts, the number 2. So we're repeating all of the same elements. We have those felt hearts. We have the metal number. We have the star brad. So we have 3 star brads across this page. I'm probably going to end up using red line tape to adhere this stuff down because it doesn't seem like it's going to cooperate any other way. So I pulled out my red line tape. I'm going to adhere all these bits and pieces down. I will be right back after that. All right, friends, so here is the finished page for day 2. Again, I had this cover thing made in advance, so that kind of made it easier to get the page done. So the way when I punched the holes in it, I made sure that there would be enough space on this side so that it would pop into the album without causing too much trouble. And then this will swivel up. And then when it swivels up, you can read, that's how the light gets in. And then you can read the journaling. And that is how that's going to live in the album. And then on the other side, I have a picture of some of the ornaments that I grabbed this year. Most of our ornaments were just, classic baubles that you can get in a pack. And last year I decided to pick up a few ornaments that just kind of resonated with me. And so this year I decided to do the same thing. So we have a little feline friend for my demon cats that we're raising, and a little nativity and penguins, because penguins are my favorite animals, and that is how the journaling ended up being what it is. So since the page is pretty much finished, I'm going to read my journaling, and then I'm going to skedaddle. So this one's it's a little interesting. My approach to storytelling is all about just letting the stories find you, right? So this story happened to find me. It has nothing to do with December. It's just a story that found me. Okay. So it says, Dear chipped penguin ornament, I see so much of myself in you. I was so excited to add a few more ornaments to... Oh, I'm already seeing typos. Great. Okay, well, we're going to keep going. I'm going to start over because I saw that typo and I was like, how did that happen? I read this 3 times and I still ended up with a typo. I see so much of myself in you. I was so excited to add a few more ornaments to our little stash of baubles and trinkets, a queen feline and a nativity set, and a cuddling pair of penguins to go along with the polar bear and the Hogwarts castle and the gnome and the tiny ceramic house, and so I placed the order. A few clicks on the app and a reminder text to the husband to pick up the bag on his way out, and it was just that easy. It was almost too easy. And like so many other times this year, I found myself holding my breath, hoping against hope that this would be the win I wanted, and we would have a few new shiny things to go along with the new and shiny tree. Well, like so many other things, it was too good to be true. And I took you out of the sack, and there it was right at the base, a giant hole where the metal cracked and fractured, and in seconds you went from being the most wonderful thing to something hideous and ugly, and why did I deserve to have this horrible thing happen to me? I quickly oscillated between shock and outrage, raging at the lack of care taken by the person who packaged our order, dismay at one more cruel joke 2020 had played on me, and I wanted to return you to the store you came from to exchange you for a more perfect and flawless specimen. But after the year that is behind me, a year that left me open and wounded, trying to gather the tattered edges of my heart and stitch it back into something that resembled the beating muscle and sinew that lives in the center of my rib cage, a year that taught me that grief and joy are equal sides of the same coin in the human experience, a year that taught me to live the width and breadth of this wild and wondrous thing we call life. It is only fitting that you, with your crack and your chip and your hole, end up on the Christmas tree next to all of the more perfect ornaments that live there. On days like this, I hear Leonard Cohen reminding me that there's a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. And if that's true, it will be a marvel how much of the twinkling lights on the tree will find its way into your mangled aluminum frame, and that when your tiny body is so full of radiant light, where else is there for room for it to go but out? When the light finds the way through the cracks in my soul, when I am so full to bursting with his light, with the light of hope and love, what then can I be but a beacon of grace and kindness and generosity? I hope that every time I pass the tree and see the flare of light in your chipped base, it reminds me to shine just as bright. Thank you for the reminder, for the lesson that flawed things are beautiful too, and for being you, missing piece and all. And now that I've read that, I made 4 glaring errors that I should have caught before I printed it, but it's finished and I've already attached everything to it, and I'm not like redoing those little banners across the top. I'm so tempted to break it up and try to redo those banners across the top, but I stuck it down with my ATG and it's not coming off. So the glaring grammatical errors are going in the album. I know what I meant to say. The spirit of the journaling is there. And that's what I get for scribbling it down before I print it out. But that's all I have for you today, you guys. I hope that something here inspired you. Don't forget, if you're interested in this cut file, you can grab it from Paige Evans from her 25 days of cut files. If you do purchase it, you get a new cut file every day for 25 days. So that's kind of wild. And don't forget to check out Amy Gretchen. That's the other thing I wanted to say. Check out Amy Gretchen's foil quill video series. She has a ton of amazing tutorials on how to use the foil quill. That's how I learned how to do everything I did here. But that's all I have for you today. So please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought of this page in the comments below. And I'll see you tomorrow. So until next time, keep it crafty and have the very best day. And I'll see you around. Bye for now.